His city heel is Aaron Rouse.
The former Virginia Tech and pro football player is a city councilman there. He's had the unfortunate experience of dealing with both this tragedy and the 2007 mass shooting at Virginia Tech.
10 News reporter Tommy Lopez has more on how he thinks the city should move forward.
Aaron Rouse is here grieving along with everyone else in Virginia Beach. But when he first heard about the mass shooting, he immediately thought of another tragedy in Virginia that he had to live through, one on our side of the Commonwealth.
To have something like this happen again here in Virginia Beach, it pains my heart.
Before Friday's mass shooting at his workplace, the unthinkable happened at the campus Aaron Rouse called home. He was a Virginia Tech student on that day in 2007 when 32 people were shot and killed.
No one should ever have to go through what not only myself but the other Hokies have been through in 2007.
How soon after what happened Friday did you first think about that day in 2007?
It was instantaneously. When I was a kid in college, I felt helpless. I felt, I didn't quite know what to do. And I can tell you in this moment as a councilman, it went from, I'm not worried about the how. I want to know, how do we go forward? What do we do now to bring in our city together, to be in there for those families who need us the most? And that's something that, we've learned at Virginia Tech, is that we found strength in each other. And that's something we have to do here in Virginia Beach.
That process started right away, Saturday morning, at a vigil dozens attended. It shows that now Rouse is in a position to lead.
We will come together like never before.
Are there ways that you can use your experience from 2007 to help give people some perspective and help them heal?
I hope so. I aim to. I understand the pathway we must travel. And we must travel it together. We can't do it alone.
He says everyone can be a leader.
It's the most simplest things. It starts with welcoming your neighbors. A simple handshake. Hi, how you doing? Recognizing our humanity first, so that we can sit down and have those tough conversations that we need and will have.
Rouse says he'll continue to attend remembrance events. In Virginia Beach, I'm Tommy Lopez, 10 News, working for you.